So what if I told you that maybe, just maybe, what you've been working on all these years with your irons is killing the quality of the golf shot you hit? And we've got fat shots like that, but you could also top it, thin it, but that one that's flushed out the middle is such a rarity for you. So, lots of golfers come and see me and really struggle when the golf ball's on the ground, whether it be with their irons, their hybrids or their fairway woods, to get that good ball and then ground contact. But very often it's what they're working on in their golf swing that is absolutely killing their shot and their strike particularly. So when you watch the best players in the world, however, they tend to deliver their irons much more like this. And we see that ball and then turf contact. Low point 2.9 inches ahead. And we see the path and face incredibly neutral, giving us a very straight shot. Now, interestingly there, I'll bring the numbers up again. So the path the club was moving on at impact there was 0.6 degrees out to in. But there's another number there, swing direction, that's minus 2.4 degrees, that's actually more important. So what am I talking about, swing direction, and why is the path and the swing direction really important things to understand, but most golfers have been taught and told that they need to try and swing more from the inside. So your golf swing's a big version of that. And as you stand to the side of the golf ball, the circle's on an angle, and the direction the club is traveling when it hits the golf ball is the path of the club. But the swing direction is the direction the swing's actually moving at the lowest point. Now, I'm going to throw this question out there just so you can interact early on with me. Where do you think the lowest point of your golf swing should be when the ball is on the floor? Comment below and let me know. So, hopefully you've commented that the low point should be ahead of the golf ball. So, if we look there, if the low point was underneath the golf ball, the path and the swing direction would be the same. But as I move my low point ahead of the golf ball, then all of a sudden, I'm catching the ball earlier on that arc, so we actually would be more from the inside. But because loads of golfers are trying to swing this way, it creates another issue. So if we look at that and go there, low point's under the ball. So if I go more to the right, we can see the cane's now touching the ground back here. Whereas actually if I swung left, which is the minus number on TrackMan, we can see there, the circle would naturally want to touch a little bit more in front of the ball. So if we show you that with the club, I set up to the ball there, and if I swing straight with no weight shift, I'm going to hit round about where the ball would be. I swing more to the right, we see I'm hitting nearer my right foot, and if I swing more left, we're going to be much more ahead of the ball and nearer my left foot. So for a lot of golfers that are obsessed with trying to swing from the inside and dropping the club down on the inside, there we go, contact in the ground behind the ball, low point 1.7 inches behind, and we look on the left side there, we see the orange line behind where the club's making contact with the ball. We see low point 1.7 inches behind. Club path, 9.2 degrees on the inside, but swing direction, 9.4 degrees to the right. So what I want you to work on, and there's an extra little tip I'm going to give you about setup. It's going to be really interesting. But initially we're going to set up nice and square. And instead of trying to swing the club from the inside this way, we're going to feel like, if we imagine that hoop there, that the circle is going to go more up and then left on the way down. And if we do that, we should see a swing direction minus. We should see that low point ahead. So we'll do a couple of practice swings. Definitely touch the ground much further ahead there. Good. And I don't really care where this ball goes initially. I'm just going to try and swing more left. Sounded great strike. We can see swing direction 8 degrees to the left. Low point 4.4 inches ahead. Therefore, the path was only 4.8 out to in. And all of a sudden with that good strike, we see a nearly 152 yards carry. Now, I know a lot of you might be watching this going, yeah, but I swing more in here and this way. I'm not talking about having a loop in the swing. I'm talking about, can you start influencing the direction of your circle to give you a better strike? And then we might not need to be as exaggerated. But when I'm working on this, I'm setting up square, feeling like I'm trying to draw the circle up and then down and left. Make that swing again. Again, we can see there that orange line way ahead of where I've hit the ball, 4.3 inches ahead. Swing direction 7.2 degrees left. Path again 4.4 left. And club face 1.8 open. Now, definitely for me, what I'll start seeing there, those first two have been good, is sometimes I'll be squaring the club face up and actually getting a little bit of a pull going from that. So I think a great thing to work on then, it really encourages that path and that direction, is instead of setting up with the club face dead square, we're actually going to open the club face up. Now what we've got to remember is at impact, the ball sets off incredibly close to where that club face points. So if I'm going to open that club face up at impact, at address there, I can't then swing from the inside because the club will be pointing over there and I might hit the corner of the studio. So I'm going to open that club face up, then I'm going to feel like I swing up and left to get that strike, but I want to see, can I swing left enough that the club face would still be pointing left of target, but open to the path. So set up square, open it up. Again, strike felt great. So we can see swing direction 5.9 left, low point 2.7 inches ahead. Club face was 3.6 degrees open, but again, that 150 carry. And when you listen to a lot of the elite ball strikers nowadays, they don't talk about trying to get from the inside. A lot of them talk about swinging left. Now, they're not necessarily meaning out to in, and I don't want this to be a really technical lesson, but this is about understanding that if I'm slightly left with my direction, with good strike, I'm going to be very, very neutral with my path. Then if my face isn't a million miles away from target, that's where we start hitting those straighter shots. So for me, those first early ones there felt really exaggerated, which is good because it's given me some exaggerated numbers. So again, I'm going to open that club face, try and swing a little bit left now, but not quite as exaggerated. And again, we can see 4 degrees left with the swing direction, low point 3 inches ahead, path 2 degrees out to in, club face a little bit closed, but 173 carry. So definitely getting that path down by swinging left. Now I'm going to open the club face a little bit more. And again, swing slightly left. That felt absolutely amazing. So swing direction 5 left, path 2 left, club 1 open. That's a very, very straight shot. And we can see the image there, that orange line, 3.3 inches ahead. Great strike and 172 carry. And I think so much is made, and I'll talk about this with golfers, about, that ability to shift that weight at the start of the downswing. But when you're swinging so far from the inside, imagine how far I'm going to have to move to try and get ball first. Whereas if I can just swing on a better line and direction, it's almost guaranteed I'm going to make contact with the golf ball first, but you need to be willing to really exaggerate one to begin with that open club face. And even with a really open club face at address, we see good speed, low point great, everything I'd be looking for is an exaggeration. And I talk about this a lot with people face to face. If you need to make a change, you have to be willing to do something really exaggerated to begin with and then dial back. So now I want to see, can I feel that I'm very neutral with my delivery because I'm going to swing up and left with a slightly open club face. Don't think my club face was great. It's not awful though. So we can see 87 mile an hour club speed, low point 3.7 inches ahead, path only 2 degrees out to in, club face very slightly closed, but a great shot at 174. So potentially this could be the only lesson you ever need with your irons, your hybrids and your fairway woods. But don't obsess about trying to swing from the inside, because that's definitely where we start struggling with low point. And if we can't strike golf ball first, the kind of face and path don't massively matter if you're fatting it 10 yards or topping it 20 yards. Understand about the direction of the swing, how it's going to help with your ball striking. And if you are a little bit left, like I've spoken about, you still might be slightly from the inside, but ultimately learn how to control the direction the club's traveling in, and you will guaranteed strike the ball better, hit the ball further, and just have a lot more fun when the ball's on the ground.